Okay, I'm going to make a true pyramid and look at the connections to fire. This is especially relevant to the Astana pyramid of peace and reconciliation, and as with all this geometry that I talk about, it emerges from the vesica. So if we begin with construction lines, make sure I'm in camera, yeah, okay. And then we're going to draw a vesica, 2 circles, very simple. Now we need to, this point and this point, create a, it's at 90 degrees. And keeping the compass at the same size, draw a little arc, or just mark that line. And so now what we have here would be 1, and this section to here would be 2, and from this point to there, that would be the square root of 5. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. And so if I was to draw this again on over here, now what we would have 1 plus 1, so this whole would be 2, and it would be 2 high, and that's a 2-dimensional representation of the Astana pyramid. Focus on this triangle, 5 squared, square root of 5, 2 and 1, phi, golden number, equals square root of 5 plus 1 over 2. Now we're going to make this into a 3-dimensional, we're going to make a little pyramid. Something similar to this. And so the problem is now that's 2-dimensional, so as we make a pyramid, that will be sloping out, and that will become less than, so we have, that would be 2 at the base and 2 high in 2 dimensions. But if we make a 3-dimensional version, as we slope it out, it's going to get shorter. So what we have to do is increase this length. We have to make 2 a little bit longer. And what's the number we need to do that? Well, the square root of 5, which we already have. So we can set our compass to the square root of 5, or 2.23 dot dot dot, and that's going to be our new height. So that's the triangle now we need to make. And we're going to turn that now into a, so set our compass, so put your point at the pinnacle, set the compass to that length, which is slightly more than the interesting thing. That length now is, okay, well, we're going into that, that's something else. So we set our compass, we're going to draw a new circle. And reset the compass again to get our base. So this would be the base of the pyramid. And we can use the already existing 1 point. And we have 1 here. We need to add at least 1 more. And so that would now give us 1, 2, 3, and 4. But to make the pyramid and to make it easier to make, we sort of need the 5th, because we're going to fold the paper around. So we're just going to add 1 more. And so now now I'm going to just mark out the 4 faces of the pyramid plus 1 extra flap, so when we fold it in we can use that as to stick it together and just to make it easier. And there are, so we're going to make basically a small model of the Astana Pyramid of Peace and Reconciliation. To begin with, the original one of the original constructions was based around 5, square root of 5 plus 1 over 2. And so 1, 2, 3, 4 are going to be the faces of our pyramid. And we're just going to add 1 more flap. You don't even have to include the whole section, but I just will anyway, because we're just going to have a little bit of paper so we can fold in and use that to for our sticky tape or our glue, however you want to put it together, just to make the construction of the 3-dimensional period. So this original triangle here is the 2-dimensional representation, but we had to extend it out a little bit, and so now we're going to make the 3-dimensional pyramid. And this pyramid itself is going to have many other very lovely connections to the golden number and 5. Okay, so now we have it. So just fold these sections. I should fold them out the other way so we have clean bits of paper. So there's our 4 faces of a pyramid plus 1 extra flat just to help us stick it together. And simple as that. Now we have use a bit of glue tack to put together. Now what we have is a true pyramid, in that the base is the same length as the height. So it's 1 wide and 1 high. And there you have it, a true pyramid, which is here we have a small model of the Astana Pyramid of Peace and Reconciliation, and some really other nice things about that. Let's recycle some paper. So the pyramid is 1 high and also 1 wide. And some really cool things about that is that the total surface area, including the base, which I haven't included, but you could easily add the base. So the total surface area, so if the edge length is 1, and as I said, it's 1 height, the base is equal to the height, and that would give, so 1 being the unit. So the total surface area would be 3.23, double check the number, 3.23606.7 ... Now, nice thing about that is, so if we divide that by 2, it equals 1.6180339887. So that's pi. If the base is 1 and therefore the height is also 1, then the total surface area is 2 pi. the texture. So the area is 2 pi or 3.23. Nice thing about that also is that it's equal to phi squared plus 1 over phi, which is equal to phi plus 1 plus phi minus 1. Another cool thing about 3.2 pi, 3.236, so if we add, so plus 1, which would make it 4.236, so 6, that equals phi cubed. So whether it's in 2 dimensions, in the 2-dimensional representation on flat base, but the area, which is another way to think about 2 dimensions, also will bring us to the golden number, which again, plus 1 minus 1 plus 1 equals phi cubed. It's an awesome thing. So that's a true pyramid, again created from the vesica, bringing us back to the golden number. Lovely. Have a good one. Oops, and something I forgot. So if the base length is 1, therefore the height is also 1, then the slant is 1.180339887 ... which is equal to phi minus 1 over 2. So again, it's another connection. So this true pyramid is overloaded with phi. This is the pyramid of peace and reconciliation in Astana by Lord Norman Foster, who was the chief architect or behind the city of Astana and so many of its major buildings. Another interesting point is that in Astana, the pyramid base is 203 feet high. The pyramid itself, it sits on a base, so that the base length of just the pyramid is 203 feet high, and it's also 203 feet high, and such as a London Fire Monument, Wellington Monument, in Nepal, the recent earthquake collapsed this large sacred tower there, which is also 203 feet high. I'm not quite sure of the exact meaning of 203 feet regarding the typical aspects such as geometry, astronomy, music, arithmetic, but it's certainly a thing that's being used in sacred architecture in, again, ancient times through to the modern era. And that's